One of the things that is great about this program is we have an informed viewership, and they come up with questions that you couldn't possibly...
Can answer?
Well, I don't know if we can answer them, but let's put it this way. Most people don't know how many topics legislators deal with in terms of possible bill topics in the course of a legislative session. And I've learned something new today. We have a question here from a viewer who wants to know from the panel, and it's okay to say you don't know, by the way, but they want to know from the panel. Last session, Representative Swede introduced House File 3792 mandating the use of aircraft detection lighting systems in new wind turbine projects and retrofitting existing ones. Does the panel support or oppose this bill?
We got that one. That would come through our committee.
So do you know what I'm talking about here?
Yes. This is on towers that if right now we have a strobe light on the towers, and what they would be saying is we want you to retrofit them so that only when an aircraft is within a proximate distance would those strobe lights go on. Basically, it's a lot of people that are near these things that are irritated by the fact that these lights are throbbing all night long. I think it's an interesting concept on towers going forward. I'm just not so certain that retrofitting is possible, much less how expensive it's going to be. But it has been discussed. We haven't had it in our committee, but it has been something that has been discussed.
And with the wind turbines in general, I mean, it is interesting. I thought a couple of years ago people were saying, we had a bunch of residents from near Red Wing who were really upset at wind power, and they wanted to have a multi-mile setback from any nearby residents and so on. And other people in the southwest part of the state love them and so on. And I kind of thought, well, maybe we need to have a moratorium or a setback of keep everything 2 miles or more outside of Goodhue County, and we won't have a problem. Because Goodhue County, where Red Wing
they were the ones.
They were all complaining, and most of the rest of the state, there wasn't any. There are some concerns about, again, the strobe lights and other things, flicker from sunlight, the blades. Some people were just bothered by that. But it seems to be 1 or 2 spots of the state where it is really highly controversial and opposed by a significant, I don't know if it's a majority, but significant number of people. But a lot of other counties down by Marshall and Laverne and so on where it's immensely popular because it's been huge for business. I mean, it's helped the economies of the communities. The farmers get paid every month for having them. Counties get property tax revenue. But yes, they're very definitely, I mean, the strobe lights, and I see how that makes sense. When the plane's near, they got to have it flashing, but if you're a neighbor, maybe it is distracting.
This hasn't come up in my district. We have quite a few turbines and farms like that, but nobody's ever mentioned it.
Any concerns of these trouble in some wind turbines?
No, nothing. The only thing that I saw the other day that's kind of troubling, there's a wind farm out in Wisconsin. It's 20 years old, and it's just been decommissioned. You don't think about that, but here's a whole place.
There's a life cycle to them.
That's been shut down, and now there's no more rent payments coming in.
So
and all the rest
they were upset they were going away.
Right. Well, and of course the issue is that
moving
is dismantling the existing facility. You know, that's there are decommissioning costs, and this is getting to be an issue sort of percolating up. You'll be seeing it in years ahead, I think.
Yeah, the light issue is really very regional to specific locations.
So, Representative Moran, we don't want to deprave you of the opportunity to weigh in on the light system. Are you
How many
okay with
turbines
that?
do you have in St. Paul, Representative?
This is one of the good things about being here, because you learn from others what is impacting their community. I'm not in, have I ever been in that committee. It has never found its way to the floor. But I have not, it's not an issue in my district. We don't have wind turbines in my district. And, and I haven't heard from any media about whether it impacts airplanes or not. So,
well, we'll be watching that issue
in some year, maybe.
Maybe. I think most of them have a red light on now, don't they?
Right. Yeah. I just get really worried that if you have it as a function of proximity, what happens if the proximity sensor doesn't work? And we have an aircraft that flies into one of these things. I get real nervous about that.